They are the parents. Parenting does not mean just guiding the children on the general values, but they must instill in them our the bhakti or the dedication to our land, to our Madhur Bhumi, our precious Bharat.
The kind of help parents can give requires mindfulness in the sense of being attentive to the child, understanding the child, and being responsive to the child's needs, because ultimately the child's happiness should be all that matters to us as parents.
Spacecraft came out of the womb of the rocket, and I felt always like that. The mother takes it to the space, it delivers it there for a greater journey beyond that point. I think that symbolizes the roles of a parent and the journey of a child.
To be a mindful parent, or to walk the path of mindful parenting, I think we as parents need to regulate our emotions.
In lifestyle medicine and holistic medicine, we look at what does the patient need, what does a child need, what does a parent need, rather than us assuming that all children need a particular thing, all parents need a particular thing. It's always the other way.
So, the power to empower is coming from here. So whether it's parents, whether it's educators, actually the entire society, because we are who are creating that energy.
A 9-year-old or an 8-year-old or a 7-year-old, they're not listening to what I'm saying. They're following what I'm doing. So if I have a bad style of game, they will just follow me. If I have a good style of game, they will just follow me. They're just mirroring me. And I think in some sense, that is also what is happening as a parent and a child. The kid is actually mirroring you. He's not listening.
Jayadhari Ma, aap sabko, we welcome our audience. I greet you all so warmly. Daisy ma'am, very, very welcome. Shobha ji, very, very welcome. Ajay sir, Praveen sir, very welcome. So much gratitude to Mummy. I'm going to carry forward a thought which says that a child's purpose is to grow up. I think a child's purpose is to be a child while growing up, while learning. But it's very important for a child to be a child. So let's carry that thought forward. And mummy जी आप बताइए.
But does the child know that it's a child? When does the child know that it's a child? Child starts thinking he or she is everything. He's already big. So child is too young to know he's a child and to enjoy the childhood. It's only later on when he loses the childhood he realizes what has he left behind. But I like Daisy and Shubha and Ajay and Praveen to take forward from where Gopi, yes, was the last statement. Children are mirroring the parents. They're mirroring the parents. That's our last speaker on the show. Mirroring the parents. Is it a fact or not? Daisy, who knows better than you, Daisy, you and Shubha, you, the counselor. Let's hear you both. Thank you so much for being with us.
Yes. Thank you so much, Dr. Kiran. Thank you so much, Dr. Ajaya and Mr. Praveen for having me here. This is an amazing platform, and I want to congratulate all of you who have undertaken this responsibility to, give out sessions on parenting. And I've gone through your previous sessions, and I must say they were amazing, and they're a good learning for all our parents who are looking forward to ensure that they have mindful parenting towards their children. So I would like to begin by a quote by Malala Yousaf, and she says that kindness can only be repaid with kindness. It can't be repaid with expressions like, the expressions we say, thank you, and then forget it. So kindness is what we teach our children at school, and parents want their children to learn. And it can only be repaid with a kind act that the children need to do for the person who has shown kindness to them. So today I begin by sharing this valuable lesson for all parents, something I truly believe in and has been the ethos of my parenting journey. I would like to say that mirroring what I just saw in the previous episode is very true. And we encounter and see children every day in school who are mirror images of their parents. So successful parenting requires both parents to agree on everything. It cannot be a single parent agreeing on something to go ahead in the household, because when we drive a car, we have 4 tires, and all the 4 tires have to be consistently moving for the car to move in a particular direction and have a particular goal to reach there. The same way, if we are parents, both the parents need to agree on everything simultaneously that happens in the house. But what we notice these days is children are experiencing a lot of problems which they sometimes share with us in school. And this is because of inconsistency in the disciplining that happens at home. And this inconsistency in the disciplining is confusing the children and adds to their stress. I would like to give an example where I would like to give a quote, an example of myself, where me and my husband have gone out for dinner with a 3-year-old child, and he refuses to sit in his place in the hotel. And my husband looks at me and gives me a scorning face that you don't know how to train this child of yours to sit in a hotel properly. What is he doing running around and moving around? And I am of the opinion that he needs to explore. So he needs to move around. So both of us want to discipline the child, but both of us have different views of getting things done in the manner in which we want them to be done. So here is where the inconsistency sets in. I have my way of getting things done with the child, and my husband has his own stringent way of getting it done. And that's what confuses the child. That's what causes stress to the child. So here I would like to raise something or talk of something which says conscious parenting. When we talk amongst each other as parents in front of children, these arguments, these voice raising concerns, or these voice raising anger that we show, it scares the young children, it confuses them. And when children see parents fighting, they have no one else to go to and ask for protection. They feel so scared. So there are times when children come to school and tell us of these instances that happen at home where both the parents are fighting. So the child really does not know who will protect me. What should I do? Whom do I tell? And that what am I going through? So stress sets in. And this is what I request all our parents, that you need to have consistency in disciplining your children and not confuse them and stress them at home, with all the untoward incidents that happen. It's a fast moving era. We are all moving very fast with AI in every sphere of our life. But if these untoward incidents are going to happen in our everyday lives, it's going to be a difficult, and parents are going to show these difficult, going through these difficult times. They are going to discuss everything to the children, and they are going to make the children aware of things that they should not be getting aware of. Then it's going to cause mood swings in the children. So these mood swings lead to stress is most of the times that we face with children who are not ready to take up the curriculum and study or do the extracurricular activities at school. Once we get to sit with them and find out what's the reason, it comes up to be something that happened at home. And because my mother was upset and my father was upset, I am upset too. So I would advise that parents at home should be cautious of the things that they discuss with themselves, because it has an adverse effect on the children. And children cannot speak it out only when they are asked, or they are taken into confidence to reveal what happened. They talk about the stress that they're feeling at home. So I would request all our parents to notice and remember that children do look at what parents are doing and how they are behaving, and come and replicate the same things at school. I would like to give an example of a disciplinary action that we took some days back for a child who was using bad names. And we wanted to really find out that where are those bad names coming from. And the child, the first he did not respond, but afterwards he said, "I'm sorry to say, but my mom never says anything to my dad when he takes all these names or he gives up all these names at home. So how are they wrong?" So it was clearly coming from home where the child was learning something that was inappropriate, but the father did not understand or did not notice that my child is learning things that he's not supposed to. So we had to call the parents to school and speak to the parents and tell them that this is something that is going on, and we would request that you please discontinue with this because your child's behavior is not appropriate in the class and he is continuously disturbed. So a parent's importance in a family is very much required. Again, the same issue that we are looking at today is that parents don't have time for children. They try to compensate their presence and time with material goods, which is also affecting the children. For example, even the small children, the kindergarten children whom parents cannot give time, have been given the gadgets because they can look at the gadget, they can continuously watch something. So the child is continuously on the gadget, but the presence of the parent is not there in the child's life. So how are we going to model and teach our children values that we were taught by our parents and our grandparents? If the child is continuously using a device, when will the child learn how to live by moral values? So very important is the values that each parent should teach or incorporate during the upbringing for the children that are there at home, because those moral values are going to take the child a long way through his journey with the struggle or the challenges that he or she is going to face. Gadgets and devices should not be used as childminders. Parents should be spending quality time with the children. We have a lot of games that we usually play when we have parent engagement programs at school. We do call parents to come over to school for kindergarten, for phase 1, that is primary, middle section, secondary section, and we help the parents to bind with the children during those engagement programs. And the whole purpose here is that you have certain mindful rituals in mind as a school, and we want the parent and the children to interact in these engagement programs and bring out their best personality. I would like to give an example of Father's Day, where fathers come in and play different games with their children and, have a lot of fun. At the end, they say that, it's just because of you having Father's Day here that I could spend the entire day with my child. And it was fun. We really enjoyed it. And then we have Mother's Day, where mothers come in and then the children interact with them. They do different coloring competitions. They do a fashion show. They do a story narration. And Ms. Shubha has been part of it. They even come out and speak about the good characters. The child talks about the mother saying, why I love my mother, what she does for me. And the mother says, I love my child because of these great values that my child is learning. So it gives a platform to the parents to come and interact, react, look at each other, and spend good quality time. So this is something which is required today. And this is the reason we have all these engagement programs at Ryan Internationals. And we ensure that the parents of all the phases interact with their children to boost their personalities, their morals. So the culture in Sharjah and in Dubai is a little different, unlike what is followed in India, where children can go down and play and mix with the other children. Usually here, because of the climatic conditions, children tend to go home and reach home and have a routine where they have to eat, sleep, and then probably get very less time to go down and interact with their peer. So that interaction with the peers is also an important thing which needs to happen, maybe on a Friday or a Saturday or even during the evenings, because the controlled environment in school and the controlled environment at home is also a cause of stress for most of the students and most of the children if they are not being exposed to their peer group. The peer group is very important, and the peer group does bring a lot of cheerfulness. Interaction with them does bring a lot of cheerfulness for all the children. So what I recommend and speak to most of our parents is one meal should be together. So usually parents have different timings for office, and they come back late and they're not able to see their children. Children go off to sleep. But maybe on the 3 holidays that the Sharjah government gives here, there should be one meal that should be taken together, and everyone interacts with each other. This way, the father and the mother are able to interact with the children and ask them, how have your days been at school? What have you learned? What is something important that happened at school and you would like me to know about it? So this interaction, even for those 2 or 3 days that parents would have with their children, plays a vital role in developing the brain of the child and having given the child confidence to interact with their parents and share any of the problems that the children would be facing. That can be in the playground, it can be in the school bus, it can be in the classroom, it can be anywhere. So I would suggest add one more thing to this beautiful meal of yours, and that is teaching the children how to practice gratitude. I still remember before we used to start eating a meal, my dad used to say, let's thank God for the food that we are going to eat. And we do this in school. Before eating the breakfast meal, the teachers say a prayer saying, thank you, God, for the meal that you're going to give us. And after having eaten the meal, we make sure the children say, thank you, God, for what I have just eaten. These are small things, but they are teaching gratitude to our children, and they are learning to be thankful for what God gives them. Meal. And this really boosts the children's confidence level, and they don't feel deflated by those mindless comparisons that come up in society. The other thing that I would like to point out here is that always parents have this ability to they want to just compare their children with others. I think this is not required. Every child is an amazing individual in himself or herself, and every child is capable of doing tremendous. So comparison, these mindless comparisons and setting unrealistic goals. Many parents say that, if you get 92%, 99% in your exams, you sure get a mobile. This is an unrealistic goal. Please don't set these unrealistic goals, because children will only work towards their goals if they know what their target is, and they've been made aware that this is the current level where you are and this is where you need to reach. So we call it goal setting. And usually we do goal setting with all our children. And if parents can do goal setting and make the children understand what their goal would be, it would be more realistic a goal than being just, being told that you get a gadget, score this much. And so we have children who are facing tremendous stress during the board exams. And they do come and say that my parent is expecting me to get 82 and 92, and I've just got 62. So how do you expect me to sit for the board exam? So it's fine to get 62. It's absolutely fine to get 52 also. So there is no need to get 82 and 92. Even as a child, getting 62 or 52 shows your commendability towards the curriculum. You are as good as the child who would have got 92. So comparisons should not be made. Children should be allowed to strive to do their best. And that's what we're looking out there for all our children in school. Nowhere do we tell them. And I think that's the latest thing that CBSE has done now, and we are very grateful. There are no ranks anymore. We don't rank children saying that you've got the first position, you've got the second, and you've got the third. Neither do we do it at any of our IIN schools. We say that all of you've done really well and you're capable of doing even better. So this is what, gives the children a lot of confidence, and it makes them perform better. And that's what is life. That's what life is all about. All the challenges that we face, the better in whatever manner you do them in, you should be able to face them. That's what is important. Also, parents should teach their children how to face these challenges, because modeling the right way or mirror images of the parents is something that every parent should be doing. Modeling the right way is show them how to be resilient. Resilience is something that every child requires. So if you're going to help them, but ensure that they themselves are capable of taking up those challenges, because that is what all the skills that we teach them in school is all about. All the extracurricular activities that they take up, when they do a debate in school, they are selected in school to go for an inter-school competition. It's facing challenges and hurdles one by one. So we need to have parents to not always safeguard the children and say that no, I will do it for you, you don't need to do it. It's like, give them the platform to face the challenges. The more the challenges they face, the more stronger they would turn out to be. So that's what we also target in school, to ensure that we give them a lot of extracurricular activities, a lot of skill building, so that whatever is there inside their mind or whatever they are hesitant about, it no longer stays. For example, there are students in class 1, 2, and senior grades as well, in fact, in the entire school, who conduct assemblies for the day, telling us this is the value of the day. This is what we did in our class yesterday. This is what we are going to do in the upcoming week. And this is the news for today. And today is my friend's birthday, so we're going to all sing a birthday song for my friend. So when a child gets on stage at class 1, 2, or 3 level and is confident to conduct and speak like that, we are training those children to be ready for the future, for whatever comes in their way, to stand up and speak. I would like to add the recent event that Dr. Kiran Bedi has also been a part of at INMON in New Delhi, where children from all across our 155 schools represent and are delegates of different countries, discussing the problems of those countries and giving solutions to them. I think a child capable of discussing an international problem, giving solutions to it, is a commendable child, has achieved something that the parents should look up to in their children. So that's an amazing platform, again, which children are provided at school, and they do their best. They develop that confidence to be standing on stage and speaking. The other thing is something that I spoke about initially, is the language that most of our parents use at home. The abusive language obviously is something that needs to be avoided, and it should be a language that's more that talks about the beauty of the Hindi language or the English language, and telling them that this is how versatile the language is, instead of teaching the abusive words, because that is something which is very difficult for children to, later on, they cannot stop using those abusive words unless and until we go through a tough treatment with them. So that is something that once it's imprinted in their minds, it takes a lot of time to get it out of their minds. So I would think that parents should be more flexible, and they should be more adaptable in their nature, and they should understand that children learn, they are learning, and whatever they are learning is going to come out and it's going to be showcased, but have some patience, because if they're going to be rigid and they're going to be judgmental, it's going to be a lot more difficult for the children to understand what is my parent expecting out of me. So parents should be more
You're mute, Daisy.
Ma'am, I think you're muted.
Ma'am, you're connected with ma'am.
Sorry.
Yes.
So I was saying that parents should be more calm, should be more sympathetic, and should show more compassion towards the desires of the children. So we understand that children have desires which sometimes parents do not like, but there is a good way of making them understand. Instead of just being rigid and judgmental towards them, parents can be calm, they can be soft, they can be compassionate, and they can explain to them, see, this is what I expect out of you, and tell me how is it that I can help you with going ahead. So if parents can seek children and have them to understand their expectations, because this is what we do in a class lesson before we begin teaching. Dear children, this is the lesson objective. These are expectations that we have from you. And while going through this lesson, the journey of this lesson is that if there's something you don't understand or you don't comprehend, you're most welcome to ask. So if that is the kind of treatment that the child gets at home, I think it's a conducive atmosphere at home, and children will learn to speak and tell their parents about what are the issues that they're facing. But if the atmosphere at home is not full of sympathy and compassion, it's very difficult for a child to speak out with what is going through his or her mind. Also, very important, and I think this is from the time that I have been a student and my parents were also teachers. The teacher, I mean, showing respect to a teacher is something that children of today have forgotten. A teacher is supposed to be a guru. That's what we used to call them in the olden age, I remember. And the teacher says something for the benefit of the child. The teacher does not say things that will destroy the child or make the child do things that the parents don't want them to. But there are certain parents who do not speak good of teachers in front of their children. This results in causing a very unharmonious situation at home, where the child has heard the parents speaking about the teacher, and that was spoken in a bad manner. So the child no longer has that respect in his or her mind. Come what may at school or whatever the teacher might do, because of that continuous speaking bad about the teacher, the children do not want to listen to that teacher and understand from her. So I think speaking and showing respect to our teachers and the generation that or our educators who've been teaching our children is something very important that all our parents should be sticking to, because this is something that we do notice in some of our schools. And there are a lot of things that these days stress our parents because of their work, because of the nuclear families that we have, and then the bad experiences that we might encounter because of certain things not happening as per how they should be. I think all those can be just kept away from children, and they should not be told about it, or they should not be stressed about it. It can be discussed with the parents. I mean, both the parents can discuss that amongst themselves and get it solved. Yes, a happy school is portrayed by happy children, and happy children are portrayed by happy teachers. So if our teachers can bring about an atmosphere where children are happy, the children go back home and create the same atmosphere at home, parents will be happy too. And that's what we are looking forward to ensure that children at school are kept in such a manner, their patience, their commitment, the rewards we give them, the communication we do with them, the relationships that we establish with them, the social, emotional behaviors that we develop with them in school, everything is kept to such an extent that they go back and reflect upon their teachings in school, makes parents happy. So we can work on that, and we are doing it right now. I think our parents will be happy with what the children are gaining, because while growing up, this is what all our children require. So this is how I would like to say that mindful parenting is an important constraint of all our aspects of living. And if we can help parents to curb some factors at school and bring about an overall holistic development of the child, taking into consideration everything that they do, they would be good individuals. They would be global citizens. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Ji, ma'am. Ji. We'll do a quick Q&A. Just a thought which I would like to share with the entire panel, and a question also. Why can't, and I speak for parents today in this question, I speak for parents. Why can't parents excel in their own respective field, be very fulfilled within, and be emotionally available for their children? Because being emotionally available for your children has nothing to do with their own excellence. They just need the love to flow. Love is not hard work. Love is not effort. So why can't parents be allowed to excel in their field and raise happy, healthy families? I think it can go hand in hand.
Shubha can answer this.
Yes, ma'am. I wanted to start at this point, and ma'am has asked the same question. there is something called as generational trauma. I will put it in simple words. What we have gone through in our childhood, or maybe in the growing up years, or we are still going through, uh, and that will be because of our parents or the society which we grew up in, and the schools which we grew up in, community, whatever. We have carried that trauma which is unhealed, untalked about, because we didn't have forums then when we were growing up. And by the time the forums came up, we are already parents to teenagers. And that trauma which is carried in will hinder us in our work, so we may not be excelling in the work. So that stress we carry it. And like Gopi sir said in the last uh, times session, I was seeing session 12, so he was telling the same thing, that we are mirroring our parents, and our kids mirror us. And our parents might have gone through some trauma when they were young. They might have heard or seen something which they shouldn't have. So this is like a generational trauma. So in holistic healing, holistic counseling, we term it as generational trauma. And now we have platforms to talk about. We have the ability to talk, and more than the ability, women, that is the mothers, are now maybe we are the first generation who have come out of the house and we are working. Before also we had, but not at this level. So we are able to voice out our concerns. So that is the main thing why some mothers or some families or some set of parents are not able to do well with their work, as well as raise emotionally secure and create that emotional safety at home. So that is the, I think this contributes to a major extent. So until and unless the parent is not healed, or until and unless the parent is not clear with the expectation from their own life, then they will start setting unrealistic expectations for their children. You don't know what to expect out of your life. I couldn't do this, you, at least I couldn't become a doctor, you become a doctor. No, that's not right. uh, the child should do what he wants, not what you need or you wanted. So I think this thing if it is addressed, then maybe the you know we could have more emotionally safe families. The sense of insecurity which comes, like in one of the counseling sessions, so one girl came crying to me. I asked her what happened. Ma'am, I have pimples and my mom is very unhappy about it, because her friends walk into our house every now and then, and they tell my mother, your daughter has so many pimples, please apply this cream or that ointment. I mean, she's a teenager. Come on, she's going to have pimples. I said, you should be proud you have pimples, because you're growing better. It is an indication that you're entering teenage, your hormones are changing, you're becoming a woman. You should be proud that from a girl you're becoming a woman. And you please tell your mom, Mama, by the time I'm 20, 21, my skin will be clear. Don't worry. You cannot fight with the mother, because the mother definitely might have gone through something with respect to physical attributes. So she doesn't want her daughter to go through the same thing. So she may be forcing the child to do this, that. So this generational what we have, until that is clear, we will not have that safe families, and child will not open up.
Gee, this itself is a very intensive topic, breaking the generational trauma, because somebody in the family has to offer the self to break it. One person in the family will have to come up and say that I'm willing to take on the karma and break the generational curses and the generational trauma. It all ends with me. One person in the family will have to do it, but then you have to offer yourself completely. That's tapasya.
Shubha,
Sir?
can I ask a question?
Sir? Ji, sir.
Is there any research done between children of now homebound women, homebound mothers, and not homebound mothers anymore? Because today we are having two kinds of generations coming. Homebound mothers and not homebound mothers who are at home but not homebound, and those who are homebound most of the time. Is there a change? Can you see a difference as a school counselor, as a principal? These children and these kind with the differences emerging, are they visible? Any research done?
Research as such, I have not come across through any solid like in numbers or anything. But when we visualize, when we do the counseling, I have seen even the homebound mothers being more confident than some of the mothers who are working. Okay, so financial security has never been financial security to the mother who is working is never an indication that she may be a confident woman. I don't see that, because I myself was a homemaker. My second child was very active, and I didn't have any support here in Sharjah. I carried a 5-month baby and 3-year-old baby when I stepped here 11, 12 years back. So I had given up my job. So it didn't put me down in any way, but I see mothers, those who are working, they still, that curbing of emotions is there. So financial security.
I'm asking something else. I'm saying the children, the attitude of the children of homebound and children of not homebound.
No, ma'am. I don't think so. Homebound mothers definitely can raise exceptionally confident kids, and the mother who is working may not be able to. But if the homebound mother doesn't have a good atmosphere to flourish and flower at home, then definitely it can be seen in the child. We can see that complex, inferiority complex in the child. Definitely it's visible. So it depends how well, like how Daisy ma'am said, how well the husband and wife are coordinating, and if you have an extended family, how well you are giving the support to the child, that especially to the girl child. In the Indian society, irrespective of the community or state, I always observe how much ever we are educated, we have reached whatever level, which country, whatever country, still that deploration is there for the girl child, whether the mother is homebound or not, it is definitely visible. So behavior of the child is not governed if the mother is working or not working, homebound or not homebound. The behavior of the child is fully governed on the confidence and the attitude the mother she carries, whether she is homebound or she is working.
Ajay, I think, there's a case for a research. 3 kinds of children: homebound, not homebound, and even residential schools.
Yes.
What is the difference between children attitudes of homebound, not homebound, and hostelers? I think it's an amazing study which can come up. Girls and boys different. What impact it has on girls? What impact is also could be a great study. Schools could actually are a great ground. Ajay, what do you think about it?
Yes, ma'am, like Shubhaji rightly said, I don't think like homebound or a working mother, that's directly proportionate to child's confidence, because it always depends on the atmosphere of the house. As Herman has observed, that for children, their parents should be their guiding figures, offering answers and ensuring they find guidance and strength from within the family. And in our book, Mindful Parenting, also, we emphasize the importance of aligning parenting approach with the realities of today's world. And this research, what you are suggesting, definitely we can add in our second version of Mindful Parenting. Myself and Praveen will work towards that.
You can, Ajay, for that you may need to collaborate with the school, because school has the data. School has, and also Bettina, residential school, because Daisy school will not be a residential school. So a residential school and a day school and homebound parents, I think it will be an amazing international study, and it will also be culturally different. I bet so. But are there cultural differences? I think these are questions. Will they be culturally different? Like you talked about, Daisy, you talked about the peer interaction. is limited in certain cultures, due to climate issues,
Yes.
right? So I think it's a big question which has emerged in my mind. How do we understand key difference between these three categories?
And
Absolutely. I
ma'am,
think,
in UAE, we don't have residential schools. I don't think most of the schools are, day schools.
yeah. But we have residential schools in India, so probably we could take
Yes.
some residential schools from either
True.
Dalhousie or Shimla or Sanar, like that, and probably look at their data also.
Yeah.
Because I have come from a residential school where I was working earlier, and we had 4,700 residential students being there on campus without their parents, and parents are all either in United States or New Zealand or Australia, and they only get to see their children in the month of November when the school closes down for the winter vacations. So with that 4,700 students on the campus, we have had a large number of students feeling homesick, not able to adjust to the boarding routine, and of course, many of them needing that motherly love to be present in the hostels. And that's the reason we used to have wardens, the male warden and the female warden, to provide that love, care, and nurture those children. We've had children from KG onwards in the hostels, and without a parent, it was very difficult. So bringing up a KG child to continue in the school till class 12 has been an amazing experience for that child who has lived his 12 years on the campus and was continuously taken care of and nurtured by the headmistress, the house mistress and the house captain, there. So the staff there has been acting like their mother and their father and providing them all the things that the parents would look into. And at instances when parents come in from New Zealand and Australia, they've said that the care and compassion and sympathy that you show to my child during those 9 months when my child is here with you in the hostel is not something that I can do when I take them back to Australia or Canada or in New Zealand, because my lifestyle and my routine of things there and my rituals are very difficult for me to give attention to my child. And that's the reason I have put my child here in the hostel, to imbibe our Indian culture, traditions, customs, and be a good human being. So we've
But
had
it's
these.
a case for study. I think it's a case for study for your next book. This
Yes.
book
Yes.
could, maybe you can sponsor that study with work with some college schools right in Dubai or Abu Dhabi. Up to you. And I think I have not come across a study like this result.
Yeah.
I'm not aware, but it'll be an eye-opening study.
We should do that.
True.
Ji. Praveen ji, your thoughts, please. Anything you'd like to share, please?
Listening to such a mind-blowing discussion itself is an experience. So I will just make some very crispy, short comments. So number one, I think it's very important that because see, I was observing in terms of parenting. So what is exactly the problem many a times with the working parents? And the working parents are spending quite a long time. So during the daytime, so on work, and where they come back to home very tired. So emotionally, psychologically, and physiologically very tired. And then to spend quality time with the kids. When the kid is coming and asking mom and dad to spend some time with me, or to go take me for an outing, or let's play together, it's like a tough time. I mean, realistically, it's a very tough time for a parent who is coming after 10 or 12 hours of work at office. So I think the physical fitness and mental fitness for parent is very, very important for good parenting. So doing workouts or doing yoga or doing meditation is not only for keeping our physical and mental fitness properly, it is also to raise the kids properly. That is very needed. So I think one thing which is very, very important for right parenting is a right mental and physical fitness for the parents, which is very important. That is one thing, because without that, whatever is said and done, it would be very tough to parent kids. That's one thing. Second, we were talking about mirroring, a mom who is spending too much of time on the mobile, and a dad who is spending too much of time on the call. So how can they say that, you can't play video games? So that's a tough point, So and it is too tough to attend the questions of children as well. Where, for example, see, I watch cricket on screen, okay, and my son was watching video game. I mean,
That means he was watching in YouTube a person playing video game. So I was just asking him, like, see, if you want video games, you go and play video games. That itself is maybe somewhere you will be getting some development. It may be problem solving, strategizing, so responding to stimulus. So why are you just watching and spending time on, somebody else playing video game? And he asked me back, like, Dad, you are watching Sachin Tendulkar, Virat Kohli playing cricket. Similar like that, I'm watching the same. So it's like I'm answerless at that point. So I think if you want your child to do something, you have to follow it by yourself. You watching somebody playing cricket and getting enjoyed, and how can I say that you can't watch video games, somebody playing video game and enjoy? So it's like, so it's super important that we have to do the proper mannerisms and proper activities at home in the right way, because as everybody was mentioning, so the mirroring is happening and following the behavior is happening rightly. So that is, I think, the second point I wanted to share. And the third point is regarding the discussion evolved about the working parents and the non-working parents. I haven't observed there is some influences there in the confidence level. I haven't observed that, but one observation, because we are mostly into the career planning spectrum, so we talk to kids about career, we talk to parents about career, and I have observed that for the moms who are working, for the working moms, the girl child is always having a tendency to mirror the parent, or to follow the career of the parent, or to talk high about the career of the parent, because the parent is working. So every example the girl child talk about career would be related to the mom and dad if they both are working. But otherwise it would be only about the dad, if the mom is not working. So the mom would be doing a lot of job at home, which is not getting properly counted. So the way the child is planning career, planning future, taking decision about what to do is getting totally modeled only by what one parent is doing if the other parent is not working.
Right.
So I think in that area, there is significant influence moms can do if they are working. So there is a significant influence they can do. So that is one observation I have about that particular or that specific aspect. And one more point I wanted to mention is at a point as part of my profession, we talk to people who are currently, we talk to the scene level people who are currently working, people who are currently searching for jobs, and also people who are currently at schools. And we work with schools in all the spectrum, from the spectrum of schools where students are coming from the background of daily wage workers, and also some of the top international schools. So the core differences, so a child who's having enough and more wealth at home, generational wealth is there, financially stable, mom and dad are socially respected. Why should I study? Still I'm not able to give a reason for the child properly. Why should I work? See, even if I'm not going for a work, I have enough and more things at my home. So there is no intrinsic motivation in the of course, I'm not talking about the children who found their passion or keenly interested about something, or they are already into a flow. I'm not talking about those 1 to 5% of people, but the other 95% of the people. So I think when the socio-economic status of the country or the world is increasing, so what is on the other level, what is going down is mostly about the motivation of the people to pursue their life. So this is not the case with the child of a daily wage worker, because they have to build everything from scratch. So if they want to get a good shelter, good home, good car, if they want to go to the good hotels or restaurants, so they have to earn by themselves. But that's not the case with the other group of people. I think that has to be somehow addressed, whereas the parent should build an aura of purpose, or a purpose or why around them, and give them the right reason to do what they are supposed to do. I mean, I'm not saying that's an easy task, but that is a tough task. But that is the task what I think this age parents' responsibility need to be. And the last point I want to make is, see, I have been observing the generation of parents, and I would say the parents of my generation and the parents of the coming generation are amazing parents. So we are the one who is consciously finding time to spend with children. I don't think that my dad consciously found time to spend with children. Yes, he spent time, but did he consciously spend thought about it? I think my generation parents are better to think about it. And the next generation parents are more conscious parents and more responsible parents. So putting all these points together, I would say number one, so the generation to generation parenting is getting elevated. Parents are being more responsible. In that way, what they have to carry along with them or to do along with them, create a why and purpose in the mind of people would be very important. And for that, it is super important that the parents should pursue their why or their purpose, and the parents should create a better environment and ecosystem at home. And at the same time, for that, the parents has to be physically and mentally and psychologically and also spiritually very fit if they have to do all this kind of thing. It's a tough job, but I think we are on the very, very right direction. At least I would say to this generation and the new generation of parents, you can talk about parenting. But you go and talk about parenting to a different generation parent, they would say that these are things naturally come to us. You don't need to talk about this. You don't need to learn about anything. These things naturally come to us. But we are on the right direction, I would say. Thank you so much, Saina.
Lovely. A lot of different viewpoints and thoughts. मैं एक यहाँ पर मेरे मन में एक बात आ रही थी, मैं आप सबके सामने शेयर करती हूँ, then we can take it forward. एक बात, just a point, हर बच्चा अपने संस्कार लेकर भी आता है. Every child comes with his or her own संस्कार also. तो उसको भी watch करना बहुत ज़रूरी है. And a little thought, हमारा जो बहुत पवित्र ग्रंथ है, और मैं क्षमा मांगती हूँ मैं अगर कुछ गलत बोल दूँ तो, हमारी भागवत गीता जी, उसका जो पहला श्लोक है वो कहाँ से शुरू होता है? जब महाराज राजा धृतराज, कौरवों के पिताजी, वो संजय से पूछते हैं कि मुझे बताओ, क्योंकि उसको दिव्य दृष्टि मिली होती है टू सी कि बैटलफील्ड पे हो क्या रहा है. पहला सवाल क्या पूछते हैं? मेरे बेटे क्या कर रहे हैं और पांडु, महाराज पांडु के पुत्र क्या कर रहे हैं. The battle could have been stopped. The father is keen on the battle. Mother, she knows the writing on the wall and she's refusing to read it for whatever reason. The Gurujan of the family, for their own reasons, limitations, could not speak up. The teachers, the siblings, the wives, the parents, the brothers, the friends, all had their own agendas. The universe had given enough opportunity to course correct. None of them picked it up. So I am just asking all of you to please share your thoughts on how collectively we are responsible in raising a healthy society. Not just for our own children, but raising a healthy society. Our children are going to be a part of that society. Ji, please, who would like to carry this thought forward? Shubhaji, would you like to carry this forward?
I think in whatever community you are, like it starts from the family. So though it's an open forum, in my family it was me. So we had certain conservative rituals, so for which I fought when I was very young, almost 17 or 18. Till today, some of the relatives taunt me for that, but I don't mind. I am happy to see the girls of this generation growing freely in the family. So someone has to talk, and for that one person to talk, maybe the situation or to tell the universe has to help that person to come on, it is you have to speak up. So someone has to do it. And then when you see things not going right in and around your close family circle, whether you become good or bad, means instead of thinking about your image, it is better to think about the character. Image is what others think of you, character is what you actually are. So if I tell in my friend's house they are doing this thing wrong, if I tell, my friend may not speak to me. No, if you feel that this thing is not being done right with the child, please speak up. Speak up in a humble way, calm way. There is no need to point out and tell that this is wrong, you're not doing something, this thing. But someone has to speak up, and it starts from the family, then your immediate circle of friends and community. Only then the society will flourish. So it's just, you have to get up and talk, like you said in Mahabharata, like how Bhagwan Krishna, he stood up and he told. So like that, someone has to stand up and talk. So if you're not, and it has to be in actions, you yourself have to follow. You just can't preach and then keep quiet. You follow it, and then you let the others, motivate the others to follow. And like how sir said, yoga and meditation helps a long way in building that strong character, or that strength and courage comes from within. So maybe it has to be practiced. That's it.
Daisy, can I ask you a question?
Yes, ma'am,
Daisy?
sure.
How do you deal with parents you think need to be corrected? How do you deal with them? Are they amenable to correction? And is that the bigger challenge? How do you deal with them?
So that is a great question, and we are facing this challenge at school, where there are a lot of things that need to be communicated to the parent, but the parents refuse to accept that particular behavior of the child in school. So we do try to speak to the parents and let them know that the children have two kinds of behavior. One is in front of the parents at home, and one is in front of the teachers in school. And this behavior in school is sometimes different, and we need you to understand how the child is behaving, because it will only help us in solving the issues that the child is facing in the school, and we don't want to stop his growth. So at times there are parents who would not like to listen to this and say that the child has any complications or faces issues related to behavior or studies in school, and they would just not want to acknowledge the fact that there is something that needs to be taken care of. In that case, I do not want to pursue that parent to understand what I'm saying if the parent does just shut their ears and would not listen to what my teachers or my counselor wants to say. In that case, we step forward and we counsel the child in school to help the child to overcome the situation that he or she is facing. And side by side, we also help the counseling with the parent to come down to terms to understand that this is what is going on with your child, and we are doing this counseling session to not in a day, but over the weeks, over the months, to let you know what your child is going through. And there are parents who have finally come down to understand that what the counselor, the principal, or the teacher, or the heads have been telling me is true, and I need to accept it. So we are facing a lot of challenges in school where parents are not ready to understand the challenges that students are going through, but we try our best and we use the help that we have in school to counsel children, counsel parents, to bring them to a stage where they can amicably agree to how challenges can be solved. It's a difficult task. It does not happen in a day. It does not happen in a week. It happens over the months, during the year, maybe sometimes even at the end of the year, at the end of the class. But yes, it does happen, because I think that virtue of patience is something that all teachers and all of us at school are, contained with, and that's what we put into practice.
I think a lot amount of resilience is required, right?
Yes.
Daisy, I have a question specific to UAE. Actually, UAE's multinational, multicultural environment offers a unique blend of culture, values, and experiences for children growing up here. From your perspective, uh, as a principal and someone with extensive experience, what are some of the key challenges and positives you have observed in raising and educating children in such a diverse environment in UAE?
It's a very valid question because there are lots of things that need to be looked in and taken care of in UAE, unlike the things that happen in India, because the atmosphere or the place where the children develop in India and the perspective of looking at things in India is totally different as compared to UAE. We have diverse cultures in school. We have Arabic expats who study with the Indian students, and they come from a different cultural background, and our Indian students come from a different cultural background. So there are at times a lot of behavioral issues that have to be looked into, a lot of adjustment issues in classrooms with both the students coming from different cultural backgrounds that need to be looked into. There are also languages that need to be learned. For example, we are learning the Indian students are learning the Arabic language, and since they know the Hindi dialect and they know English, it's another dialect that they're learning. So this is also something that children as well as parents have to be taken into consideration to help them to learn a new language, because if the child is not able to learn the language, it is a concern for the parents as well. And we get many times issues with parents where they find it difficult to teach a new language. So learning a new language, then coping up with the environmental conditions. We cannot have children go out and play in the sun during the days for almost probably around 4 to 5 months because it's very hot. So we have indoor arrangements which have been made to ensure that those skills that need to be developed for the children continue to be developed irrespective of the weather conditions that we face. So there are some hindrances where some games where children have to run for long distances cannot be done indoors. But yes, all other games that can be played indoors, they are taken care of, and those skills are developed for the students, for the children. But yes, parents' mindset is different, and that's what is we would like to have parents from diverse backgrounds come into our, like I said, parent engagement programs. We also have coffee sessions where parents are allowed to come and sit in the class and see how the lessons progress and how the learning in the class happens. This helps the parents to see what kind of effort is the school and the teacher putting in for my child to learn, and what kind of work do I need to do back at home to see that my child also progresses in the same manner. So all coffee sessions, parent engagement programs, and different events that we conduct or have at school, where parents come and take in counseling sessions. Like I said in the beginning, Ms. Shobha has been coming and taking up some adolescence, sessions with a girl child, and she's been speaking about the different problems that they would like to confide in her and speak about, help the school to overcome, any of those issues that would develop because of the multicultural society that we face. So I think a lot of bonding, a lot of collaboration with our parents, with our teachers, with our counselor, and the well-being committee that we have at school, which looks at the aspects that the children need to, the well-being is a very important aspect at school. So the well-being committee comprises of a lot of teachers, supervisors, who are continuously looking into the social, emotional, and physical development of the children. And if it is getting hampered, immediately we have people who will look into that particular social, emotional aspect that needs to be taken care of. So those are some ways that the wellness team gets around with the supervisors, teachers, and looks into the multicultural, environment that we have.
Are you involving grandparents? Daisy, are you
Yes.
involving grandparents?
Yes, so I was going to add to that. This Saturday, we are celebrating Grandparents' Day, and we feel that grandparents, according to our chairman, Dr. F. Pinto, play a very vital role in the development of students or children at home. So if children grow up with grandparents, like I said before, the values, the morale, the confidence to do things in life is boosted for some because of the ethics and the values that the grandparents teach to their children. That's why we have this special day where we also want the grandparents to come and bind with their grandchildren, whether maternal or paternal, enjoy themselves, and do the certain activities with the children that bring about a smile on their face. We've had grandparents travel all the way from India to attend the Grandparents' Day because they are informed in advance. So they do travel all the way from India to be here for Grandparents' Day. And that's an amazing moment to see our little children interacting with grandparents and grandparents enjoying themselves with the atmosphere that is created for that day. You know, we have those Hindi songs, Nani, Dadi Amma Manja, you know. So when you play those songs and children sing them and the grandparents come on stage and they see their grandchildren singing those songs, it's a different kind of a vibe. So we get to create that kind of an atmosphere in school where, you know, the grandparents are the most welcomed part of the society then.
Ma'am, just a quick question regarding this only. These sessions are one-on-one, ma'am, with the parents?
Yes.
They're very exclusive?
Yes.
Ma'am, how do you handle those situations when the parents need to be also told that for the child's sake, you must come together and not put each other down in front of, you know, the child? You must have respect, you know, that basic courtesy and regard and respect when you're talking to your child. How do you, ma'am, and another point if you could add.
So you get into marital counseling through parenting.
एक और बात जो मैंने देखी है, जो एक डिफरेंट सेक्शन में आती है, a lot of parents when they call to school, घर आकर क्या होता है कि आज बच्चे की वजह से हमें स्कूल बुलाया गया, आज हमें इतना कुछ सुनना पड़ा बच्चे की वजह से। वो एक्चुअली बच्चे की वजह से नहीं सुनना पड़ा, वो आपके खुद की वजह से सुनना पड़ा। तो मैम ये वाली सेंसिटिविटी आप कैसे हैंडल करते हैं?
So it's really difficult to do something that's so sensitive in front of others. So it's confidential and it's confidentially discussed one-to-one with the parents, and it's a separate room where we interact with them and we have specific people who speak to them. And then of course, things that are shared with the counselor also are you know, confidential. But yes, like I said, we need to make the parents to understand that आपको जब स्कूल बुलाया जाए उसमें आपकी गलती नहीं है, आपके बच्चे की गलती नहीं है, लेकिन जो हो रहा है आपके साथ और आपके बच्चे के साथ हम उसको सुधारना चाहते हैं, इसलिए हम आपको बुला रहे हैं कि आप समझें कि इस सिचुएशन को आप कैसे टैकल कर सकते हैं घर पे और हम लोग इसको कैसे टैकल कर रहे हैं स्कूल में। तो अगर आप समझ लेंगे कि हम कैसे टैकल कर रहे हैं सिचुएशन को, कैसे सॉल्व कर रहे हैं स्कूल में, और आप घर में ऐसा करेंगे, तो दोनों तरफ से, आपकी तरफ से और आपके बच्चे की तरफ से आपको वैसा ही you will get to see the same kind of behavior that you're looking forward to. So when the parents understand this and they would work on the plan that we give them, it's amazing. They come back and tell us, you know, you told us to do this and it's working so well. My child is now so fond of me. My child tells me everything. My child has lost that, you know, that scared attitude that the child has. It's no more there. And my child confides in me, and that's what is important. A child confiding in a parent, like I always say to all my children, your best friends in this world are your parents and nobody else. And my children always ask me that, ma'am, why do you say that? My 10th standard friend, my 11th standard friend, I said, everybody will be your friend for a certain phase of time. Momentarily, they will be there with you in life, but your parents will be there with you throughout your life, come what may. And then parents come back and say, because you've been saying this, we did what you told us. The child is now completely understanding, doing what I'm saying, and wants to go ahead and do things in life that they consensuously, both of them, come to a understanding. So I think it's very important that as a school, we not only represent children coming and studying there, we also represent the parents whom we are associated with. And I always say, my stakeholders, my parents, play a major role in shaping the children that are there at school. I myself, me and my team of teachers cannot do wonders if we don't have the collaboration of our parents. So for me, to run a school and be there for the children is one phase of it. But with collaboration of parents, I can do wonders for all those children who are there. So if parents can understand this and the children can understand this, we have global citizens all around doing good things.
I would like to add one thing, if everyone doesn't mind here. parents have to make a conscious choice when they are selecting the school also. It is not just about just the building or the facilities and all these things. Of course they are important, but along with that, the interaction with you have with the staff, and how much emotional safety they are providing to your child. Like in Ryan International, we have a parent teacher association, so there is one parent representing each grade. So any problem your child has, you can speak to that parent representative, because we can't give out the phone numbers of the teacher to all the parents, right? So, or the social media account or whatever it is. So the parent will keep it confidential, will speak to the concerned supervisor, and we see that confidentially the problem is solved. So this has been carried on, and I'm very much happy with all these things in the school. So I see other parents changing the school just because something new came. You just change. Come on, it's not a device that you throw the old one and bring the new one. It is a lifetime bonding. I remember my teachers still today. Every Teachers' Day, I wish them, right from my grade 5, 6 teacher till my professors in MTech. I'm in touch with them. Like, you just say Shubha, no need to introduce the full name also, they recognize me. So teachers are lifetime bonding. So when a child is growing, how much the parent contributes, there is equal contribution from the school as well. I'm a teacher as well as a parent, so I can very easily tell that definitely make a conscious choice for the school, because school provides a lot of feed to the child.
Which is why, Ajay, we suggested let's call principals and teachers, because they're 2 in 1 for us. They're a 2 in 1. Yes. They're a parent and they're a teacher, and they're not 2 in 1. They're third counselors.
Absolutely.
Yes. So you have 3 in 1 through them: counselors, teachers, and parents. Yes. It's so good that we chose this. We decided to focus a little more on this shift. And UAE is full of such brilliant principals, one by one. I'm sure Praveen and Ajay would continue to identify outstanding principals and counselors to continue to educate us. I think it's been a very educative session, both from a principal and a counselor.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Sana, can we call it a day, because we've crossed the time and we're getting the signals from our desk?
Ji, thank you. Ji.
Thank you. Thank you so much. See you, Sharjah. Daisy, hope to see you in Sharjah one day again.
Sure. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Ajay, and thank you, Shubha.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Shubha ji.
Thank you so much.
Ajay sir. Thank you, Praveen ji. Thank you, Mami ji. हमारी audience का बहुत
joining. Thank you. We look forward to more such educational discourses.
Next month we meet again.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Ji, thank you.